This morning's breakout session is going to be kind of a real high overview of NCI's support services. We call them FlexCare. This is the FlexCare Flash. A couple of the solutions, a couple of the services we're going to talk through on a real high level is NCI Pro and VMware Care. NCI Pro is a solution I know a lot of the customers that are in here that are currently leveraging from a patching perspective. So it's a solution we can actually deploy on all endpoints and servers. And NCI is responsible for managing those endpoints from a patching perspective, make sure you're compliant and that everything is up to speed in your environment. A lot of you guys there's a few different components that are baked into that solution, excuse me. There's a few different slides here. I'm going to skip ahead. There's a few different other features that are baked into this solution, inventory tracking being a primary one. Make sure everyone's OS is up to speed, et cetera. And then also we can do scripting and software deployment with this solution as well. So as organizations push out new softwares, we can actually help them with that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is our solution called VMware Care. So a lot of the organizations that we work with, one of the challenges that we have is as they continue to upgrade servers, et cetera, one of the challenges they see is their VMware environment is not current and it's maybe a generation, 3 generations behind. It's something that no one ever is paying attention to, it seems. So what we've done with Network Center is figure out an average, annual spend from what that looks like and break it out into a 12-month consumable cost. You can see there's a few different pricing tiers there based upon the environment. But what we've done with this is added one more layer of security and one more layer of management for your organization. With that, I'll give you Chris Johnson.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Just by a show of hands, does anybody have a Complete Care or FlexCare agreement with NCI today? Thank you. Have you started with Complete Care and transitioned to FlexCare, or was FlexCare your initial managed services agreement with NCI? Yeah. Okay. I'm one of the newer sales reps at Network Center. I'm out of the St. Cloud office. I started with FlexCare as well. Prior to FlexCare, we were a little bit more rigid in our service delivery, and just to kind of try to go back a little bit on this. Basically, the foundation of FlexCare is it's all menu driven. So for your business, you get to pick and choose what services you need from us, what services maybe you already take care of it in-house, and it's also very flexible as far as terms. So there's no fixed term to the agreement. It's been working well for a lot of different clients in a lot of different scenarios. This is the complete menu for the FlexCare. I don't know if you reviewed this with your account manager recently, but it is kind of nice to walk through this on a regular basis to make sure that either it's handled by us or it's handled by you. We just want to make sure that you're covered for all the routine maintenance items. As Jared was talking about, the NCI Pro is just basically the automate patching. This is one of the foundational pieces of a FlexCare agreement. And I'm going to skip by the Managed Network. Managed Network, like all the other services, is highly customizable. So basically what you do is you select the devices that maybe your team is challenged with updating on a regular basis, trying to stay current with patch levels on your firewalls, your switches, that sort of thing. We can decide what's in scope for you and what's out of scope, and we'll just turn those projects into a nice flat monthly revenue kind of thing for you, so it's easy to manage too from your CFO side of the house. For those of you who have FlexCare today, any questions you have about what things work, how it's delivered, what things you run into? Folks that don't have FlexCare today, any thoughts on what your current situation is as far as managed services? Wrong way of that slider. So those are the first few things we want to talk about. The next segment of this will be more security focused, and we'll talk about these next 3 categories of FlexCare.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jared. I'll grab that microphone too if you want to just chime in. My name is Jake Krieg. I'm an account manager here at Network Center. This is Brad Gorder. He'll be doing commentary. You could call him Tony Romo maybe for...
You'll be doing nothing as usual.
Yeah, typical. We're going to cover a few different security segments that are part of FlexCare. NCI hosted email filtering, NCI hosted breach detection and managed backups. Security is best in layers, and these are 3 solutions to help better protect your end users, your organization. With NCI hosted breach detection, we use a product called Huntress. It's $3 per user per month, so pretty reasonable for cost perspective. Gordon, you want to talk about what it does before we jump into everything else?
It's a lightweight detection tool that enables anomalies that are happening on your network. And practical story is we just had Huntress report into our dashboard during the night that one of our customers had been breached, right? So it really works. One of the things that they failed to do was keep updated the software on their VPNs, and someone had infiltrated their network via their VPN and wreaked holy hell havoc in their environment for a week and a half. Big IR, right? So if you don't have something on the front end of breach detection, Huntress is a very low cost, high value service to you that actually works. It reports again into our NOC. Our NOC is not 24/7, but it was discovered at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:50 in the morning. Fortunately, the anomaly had happened right before that. So, Steve, if you have any other comments on that, it'd be great to know. But from our perspective, if you don't have something watching your network, Huntress is a very low cost, high value solution.
Yeah, from what I understand, when things start coming offline, Huntress just takes everything offline. So instead of your whole network going down, 1 or 2 things go down, and then you're able to restore from there. So that takes us to NCI hosted email filtering. We use a product called Securance. We used to use GoSecure, but decided that Securance is a better offering. So we moved all of our customers that had NCI hosted email filtering to Securance. And what we do is NCI owns the licenses, we update the software, and then we rent those licenses back to the customer. So you don't have to host anything, you don't have to update anything. Quantities are easy to adjust, pay as you go. If you add users, your invoice changes automatically. It's easy for the customer to manage. Just another solution for security, another layer of protection. Brad, do you have anything you want to talk about as far as email filtering? Pretty straightforward. Managed backups. We use a tool called Backup Radar, and we're able to do test restores on your files, and get alerts when backup copy jobs aren't working. We use this for Datto, for Veeam, and for Azure. We can also, I think it's $10 per VM per month, and then if you want us to manage that, it's $260 per month for us to do the management of it. Test restores. I think that's up to 1 file on 10 VMs per month.
Sounds right.
Something like that. Anything you want to add? That's pretty much it. What kind of questions do you guys have?
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is keep in mind as we're walking through the services that are in FlexCare, FlexCare is a menu-driven managed services agreement. You can pick and choose. Hopefully that was well established on the front end with Chris and Jared, but it's tailorable and customizable to your business. It doesn't have to be all in. You can pick pieces and parts, so seems obvious, right?
Yeah. Any questions? Comments? Shane? Okay.
We're running alongside Jason Dahl's cybersecurity presentation. I mentioned it earlier today to other group, but if someone's asking you for access into their network via multi-factor authentication, make sure you know why and who, and take it seriously. We had another breach happen. One of my customers recently who was pounded with, hey, I need access to your network. They granted it, and it wound up being $500,000 transferred out of the account into a sub-account in Texas that turned into crypto that is not traceable. So multi-factor authentication is a piece of the puzzle. I'm listening to Jason talk about it over here. You're going to miss that piece of it. Make sure that if someone's asking for access into your network via MFA, that you know what, who, where, why, how. Call them before you grant it, okay? Super important. Not FlexCare, but important.
Important indeed. Thanks, everybody.
That's it. We're scheduled till 10:30, but we're concluded. Yeah, Steve. Here, hold on, Steve. Huntress piece? Yeah. Pick it up. Have at it.
We changed the Huntress to do automatic host isolation now. So before it was just an informational tool, but it will, if it detects at a level that the Huntress engineers, which are monitored 24/7, if they detect a serious outbreak, it'll do automatic host isolation. So that device will get isolated, would only be able to communicate directly to Huntress's team. And then our team gets notified on call as well. So if they see a serious break, the monitoring is active with us 8 to 6, but the it's 24/7 through Huntress, and then it gets forwarded to our on-call team. So just wanted to add that.
Steve, you want to just explain kind of what your role is at Network Center? Do you still
I wasn't one of those. I just work in the team, but I work on the NOC team. So when you do the managed services, Stacy, myself, and Craig, and we have other people here. Derek's on the team. So when you have the managed services, it comes into our NOC board. We're monitoring that. So we do the automate. We take a look at your ESET. The backups is monitored by a different crew, but basically anything that's on the managed services, our team is taking a look at every day. So the other services that we have, Arctic Wolf, for example, that comes into our board 8 to 6, and then if there's a serious detection, our on-call people get that 24/7. So there's always 2 guys on call all the time. So.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to hand the microphone to Stacy Walsh. Stacy is an incredibly great part of our team at Network Center. Any net new, inbound FlexCare customers, Stacy owns, manages the onboarding piece of the puzzle until they're fully functional. So you want the mic?
Cool. Thanks, Brad, I was hoping you could maybe share a couple stories of some of the customers you've worked with that weren't using these services and didn't have these solutions in place. And after they signed up for the services, kind of how things changed for them. Just to put you on the spot.
I don't really have any stories. I just don't. Steve, do you? Huh?
We rolled the hosted ESET out to a client. We caught something that was not detected by their previous antivirus solution, and it was a breach that was staged but not ready to go yet, but ESET caught all the files that were staged, and we were able to shut it down. It was very shortly that, that would have gone active, so.
We're kind of ad-libbing here and we're over our time, I get it, but I think it was Jared, or maybe it was Jake, that said Network Center's philosophy for cybersecurity is strengthen layers. And I think the best part of what FlexCare is that piece to the puzzle in a menu at the desktop. Right? I heard Steve talk about Arctic Wolf, 24/7, 365, phenomenal detection tool. They have 3 pillars: manage detection, manage risk, security awareness, like no before stuff, like our CV scan. They have products that are in one suite. They put little sensors on your network, watch your network 24/7, 365. They call you direct, or they call Network Center direct to intervene if something's happening. So if you haven't stopped by Arctic Wolf today, sorry to pitch them, but that's what they do, and they're very good at it. They stop cyber risk. How else to describe it? If you're not in line with what their budget numbers are, I look at them more as like cybersecurity as a service or a staff augmentation tool rather than any other way to look at it. You get to know them. They name you an individual. They report to your team. They become your cybersecurity team. I guess I don't know how else to say it. If that's not in your budget or consideration, Network Center has pieces and parts to tool it in FlexCare. And I think that's really what you're looking at, is a more comprehensive approach in layers for our customers. Maybe wasn't the original intention of FlexCare, but that's really what it's come out to be, and we find it highly valuable for our customers. So stories, I could go on all day. There's hellacious stories that happen at Network Center for our customers regularly, and most of it's human driven, where you get fooled or tricked and you grant access to your network, you give out your creds, right? For the most part, the tools do a really good job of preventing cyber intrusions. It's typically, sorry guys, people driven. Someone gets fooled into giving out credentials.
A lot of times, we don't implement these things until something happens, right? It's always, spoof emails going out, or hopefully somebody knows somebody that had a ransomware attack or something, like that. So some people get ahead of the game and they implement things like this to prevent that, but unfortunately, it's usually after an incident, right?
What about the benefit of the support center? I mean, that's one of the keys of FlexCare, that you get access to our support center. I think that's huge. You get to know your environment and all that kind of stuff.
They're great.
They're great.
For sure.
I've been for 20 years.
That's wonderful. So I think one of the benefits of our support center is it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which is uncommon. Normal business hours, right? Not 8 to 5, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Response times are defined in the FlexCare agreement. What's one of the benefits, again, of transition from where we were to where we are today?
During onboarding, we document everything so we know what you have, your user information, easier to troubleshoot.
And if it can't be solved, I don't know the number, I hear 85 to 90 and 95%. Resolution with remote support, I hear that all the time. I don't know what the number is. I just know that if we can't solve it remote, we'll actually leave the office. We'll shut our computer off. We'll go back to scheduling. Someone will be dispatched and come on site to help you, which I think is a real advantage. I would also say, I'm starting to sound like a sales guy. That wasn't my intention. I apologize. I would also say that there's 15 people on that team, and they're all local. They're all Fargo, St. Cloud, Bismarck. Maybe there's one
Grand Forks.
disconnected. But for the most part, they're Network Center badged employees distributed across a small geography to help you in any way we can. So I think that's important. So I think I'll end it here. Okay, go.
I've got nothing.
Okay, good. We're over our time limit. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Make sure you enjoy the day, participate in as many sessions as possible. And again, thanks for being part of the Network Center, Envision 2023.